be the large tattoo of a centaur ripping a woman in half on his forearm. Or maybe it was the fact that he had a large amount of cinder blocks and tarps on the back of his car when he picked me up for our first date. Oh, who am I kidding? If a man handed me a bouquet of red flags, I would say, a bouquet of red flags? For me? Hello, my name is Izzy Williams. I'm from Sitka High School, and this is A Dozen Red Flags by Lee Brandon. Let me tell you a little something, Eliza. The new kids these days are so strange. I was watching The Price is Right the other day, and there was one of the new hippies, you know, the white ones with the dreadlocks. And his name was, get this, Eliza, Apple. Who names their child after a piece of produce? This is Dolores. She's the youngest member at the nursing home that I work at. I'm a nurse there. She's not necessarily old, but she's not young either. You see, she's here because once on accident, instead of taking her blood pressure medication, she accidentally popped 2 of her grandson's ADHD medication. You see, she accidentally, well, not accidentally, she does it out of spite. She didn't wear her readers, so she picked them up, took them, and the rush of adrenaline reminded her of her days as an archaeologist in Guatemala. And, well, you see, that kind of caused her to, well, steal her daughter's car and jump a bridge. You won't get me, coppers! I'm too young to go to prison! I'm too young! The judge gave her 2 decisions, either go to drug rehab or come here. Well, she came here. I know, Dolores. Millennials these days is just such a shame. Lucky for me, I was born September 11th, 2001. Well, that is quite the unfortunate coincidence. She hasn't done anything necessarily evil or bad here. She did get in a fight with James because he called her sugar lips. She laid him out on the floor. And she also bought the Bridge Club an entire bag of marijuana. And they all got high as kites. Whoa! Yeah! I like those cars, Tim! I think those are fish, James, but I'm not really sure what fish look like anymore. She also hasn't done anything necessarily illegal. Oh, except that one time, but, well, that was partially my fault. You see, it all started because of this man I met. Dupree, I think. I don't think he's a man. I think his name is Dupree. We're not really sure, the forensics aren't back yet. You see, I met Dupree at Petco. In line, too. And he was the most handsome, charming man I'd ever met in my entire life. Long hair. Pardon? Long hair. Oh yeah, I really don't like cutting it, so I like keeping my hair long. Cats. I like long-haired cats too. Oh my gosh, me too. I have long hair bending, but I also have English short hair. I like the smell of your hair. Can I smell it again? Sure. He asked me out on a date, so of course I said yes. I mean, how could someone refuse a man with such charm? Dolores was obviously a little bit skeptic, but at least she wasn't mad. Aren't you absolutely insane? A man snips your hair at Petco and then you ask him out on a date. Where is he taking you, Taco Bell? No. He's taking me to the zoo. And that's true. He was taking me to the zoo. Except it was at 2 o'clock in the morning. But I assume he just had a friend who worked there, or maybe he works there, or maybe the zoo was holding some kind of midnight special for returning customers. Either way, I was so excited. He came and picked me up in his wonderful car. It was a Saturn. And in the corner of his dashboard, there was a flashlight and pliers, and every time I would go over to touch them, he'd yell, "Don't touch that!" In the most romantic way. When we arrived, I got out of the car and so did he, and he grabbed the pliers and started cutting a hole in the fence. I assumed he saw something that needed to be fixed. And then he said, "Liza, hand me the flashlight." I thought I wasn't supposed to touch the flashlight. "I don't care, hand me the flashlight, lady." And then he stepped through the gate. He started stepping over things, doing this funky little dance. I guess he had the best song playing on his headphones. I thought it looked fun, so I climbed in after him. We walked around for a couple minutes, but I didn't see anything, so I went back to the car. Dupree didn't show up until 20 minutes later, and I got so nervous during that time that I dialed 911. I was very scared that he had gotten lost. He came back with a large cot and a long tubular item that he quickly opened his trunk and slammed it shut into it. Ugh, I should not have eaten that burrito earlier. That's when I started to get a little worried. You see, gastro pains are usually mistaken for appendicitis, and I did not want him to get appendicitis. That would be very embarrassing for him on his first date. Now, Dupree, I think maybe you should take this Alka-Seltzer to help with the praying. But I'm fine. Now, Dupree, I'm a nurse, and I really think you should take it. It'll help you. There is no one on earth who could possibly be this stupid. Shh. Get in the car! I know this looks bad. And granted, it probably was. But when people are in pain, they tend to make brash, harsh decisions that they don't really mean. Now, Dupree, I know you're very angry because of the pain you're in. But don't worry, I've already called an ambulance and they're sending it with a few squad cars, just to make sure you're all right. Are you joking? Get in the car! Then I heard a sort of noise. It was coming from his trunk where he had just shoved the long tubular item. And the turned into a large crash. And out popped someone I did not expect to see. What are you doing, lady? Get off of me! Dolores, what are you doing here? Get off of him! I told you he was crazy, Eliza. I told you. Look what he had. She held up the largest, slimiest, longest snake I had ever seen in my entire life. It was bobbing its head back and forth, sizzling like a pan of bacon. Lady, get off of me! You're gonna hurt yourself! See, he's not crazy. He's worried about your well-being. Suddenly, the turned to a the snake bit Dupree's arm. He reeled back in pain, throwing Dolores against the car. Ow! And then suddenly, excuse me, ma'am. I'm gonna have to ask you to put the snake down. Or I'm gonna have to charge you with assault and battery. And snake hostages. And that about sums up our story to date. You see, Dolores and Dupree both got arrested. Apparently they were already looking for Dupree. I'm sure he's innocent, though. And also, Dolores originally only got another 2 years added to her stay at the nursing home. But then she added something to her case that, well, didn't necessarily help. That is a stupid decision, and maybe if you weren't so bald, Judge, you'd see that. And now here I wait, awaiting my sentencing. In a cell. It's not very nice. But I think I learned a very important lesson. Never eat a burrito after 8 p.m. That is not the lesson you learn, Eliza. And maybe I shouldn't trust people as much as I normally do. Your hair smells so nice. Can I have some? Oh my gosh, thank you. It's a new shampoo, and I must say, that large tattoo of a centaur ripping a woman in half on your forearm is quite lovely.